Yo, what's up guys? It's Jack and welcome back to another video, and this is footage from the day before the patch came out, because I ended up getting the game in order to practice to, get used to the feeling of playing this game again before the recent overhaul patch came out, and yeah, so I figured I'd put this in here. And on top of that, I haven't really been playing too much World War II lately, and the biggest thing that I wanted to say is that the developers, first and foremost, one of the things I want to say is that the developers have, for the most part, done everything that they possibly could to basically make this game a viable Call of Duty game in terms of the overhaul, adding unlimited sprint, and everything in between. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But if all in all, if anything, this change, as well as my experience with the game, just tells us that everything, the most important thing above all else, beyond the perks, beyond the weapons, beyond the score streaks, and I know some of you will probably rip me a new asshole for basically saying beyond the score streaks, but it's true. I know score streaks are a really, really huge thing in Call of Duty. I know they're a part of the main formula, but let's mention something that's even more important, and that's the maps. The maps are the #1 factor on what make a Call of Duty great, in my opinion. And I'll tell you why. Because beyond everything else, beyond getting the score streaks, okay? Beyond using the guns, beyond enjoying the perks, what do we spend the most time in Call of Duty multiplayer? That's the maps. Our experiences are best when the maps are good. Like, for instance, I mentioned in the very, very beginning of this video is how I was basically practicing and getting used to the feel of this game again the day before the patch came out, on the day that I got this game again. And I will say, except for the hit detection sometimes, which is a little inconsistent, I will have to say that I like the way this game feels, and I really, really dig the changes, and I admire the changes that they've made to the game, and it has made the game more playable. But one thing that just breaks it overall for me, and that can't keep me playing the game consistently, is the fact that the foundation, which is the maps, are just a really, really big letdown. And it just goes to show you how important it is. I saw a video about a week or so ago where there was a big COD tournament, and pros were asked if there was anything for the wish list that they'd want in Black Ops 4, the most important thing, what would that be? And every single one of them, among the other things that they answered, every single one of them said maps. And usually, if memory serves correct, it was the first thing that came to their mind. So what does that say? Maps are everything. And one of the things that Scump mentioned actually in this in a video that I've seen from him, it could have been the same video, it was a long video, so I don't remember if it was that one or a different one, is that it's really hard to make maps that are simultaneously viable and competitive, as well as pubs. And it seems that Treyarch does this the best. Like, for instance, if this game, okay, like I said, I like how this game feels. If this game were to have Raid, or let's say they do a remake of Raid or Standoff, just to name it, or like, let's say Fringe from Black Ops 3, just to name a few, okay? There's plenty more maps. And the reason why I'm mentioning Call of Duty Black Ops 2 maps is because, well, not necessarily because Call of Duty Black Ops 2 is my favorite COD, but I think it was one of the most balanced CODs, and they did so many things right in terms of the maps and things like that, and it didn't cater to any playstyle. And trust me when I tell you guys, I went through absolute hell to learn how to rush properly in a Call of Duty game, and it all started in Black Ops 2. And the thing is, it just made me appreciate, after time and after experiencing all these different Call of Duty games, after I got better with Call of Duty in general than when I once was, I have learned to appreciate not just the importance of maps, but just like how good maps of the past are. Like, even maps from Modern Warfare 3 are good, and I understand that they have a remake of one of them in one of the DLCs or whatnot, but still, even some maps from Modern Warfare 3 were great. Like the small maps like Dome. Dome is amazing. In my opinion, Dome is a much better map than Shipment. And I know Shipment is very legendary because it's a COD 4 map or whatnot, but Dome overall is, in my opinion, a better map, just to name one. Strike Zone, for instance, which is a remake of Dome with different additions into it from Ghosts, another good map. Even Warhawk from Ghosts is a good map, and that game had plenty of bad maps. In this game, unfortunately, there are a couple of decent maps here and there, but for the most part, most maps are not something to be crazy about because it's just too random. And I remember Thunder said something once about Advanced Warfare. He said, when you introduce chaos, you eliminate skill. And the thing is, when there's randomness in a game, and it doesn't have to be jetpacks. I think that's one of the biggest things that we learn, that I personally have learned from this game, is that it doesn't have to be jetpacks in order for there to be chaos. It could be the complete opposite, and it could still be chaotic. Why? Because it introduces a different kind of randomness into the game. Anybody could be anywhere. You can have an idea due to the knowledge of the spawn system where people are going to be at, but with the randomness in terms of the spawns being a little inconsistent with this game, and with the maps being the way they are, built the way they are, lanes within lanes and rooms within rooms next to each other. I mean, for instance, Carentan is a small map in this game, okay? And there are, and hardly anybody goes outside in those maps. People, at least half the people in every single lobby are just going to chill in rooms. And there's plenty of rooms to choose from. You can enter a building and there's a room within another room within another room. It's like invading, it's like a little apartment or whatnot. And they could be anywhere, and it's very advantageous for them to just go in there and just chill. Okay, why have legs in a first-person shooter if it was built like that? So I think you guys know what I'm getting at. It's basically maps are just so important, and maps need to be balanced. They can't cater to any single kind of play style. And I know it's easier said than done from a development standpoint, but maps are by far the most important aspect in a Call of Duty game beyond everything else. Because every single Call of Duty now, it's pretty much a given that every single Call of Duty game is going to have its good guns and its bad guns. I mean, it's we're going to have we're going to have maps that are, some of them that are not as good as others, but for the most part, the maps have to have that element to where, regardless of your playstyle, you need to be able to be consistent in determining, depending on your level of skill, you need to be consistent in how you're able to perform. And maps, and along with, and more minorly so, a messed up spawn system in a sense, has the ability to kind of interfere with that. And that could be annoying for a lot of players. There's a lot of inconsistencies. You have to have consistency. And I appreciate, trust me when I tell you, I truly appreciate what the developers did with the recent update. But I'm not trying to be pessimistic here at all. I'm just being realistic. It's just not enough to fix this game and to save it, unfortunately. Is it better? Is it more playable? Fuck yes. But is it enough to make the game great and a viable enough Call of Duty game? Well, in my opinion, no. But that answer also varies on the player. But it's in my opinion, in my experience, and in my knowledge, it just isn't. It's lacking. It's like having a whole bunch of positive things which they just entered into the game, but there's always that negative thing that we just can't fix because it's a part of the DNA of the game. So anyway, that's it, guys. I went over time here. Let me know down in the comment section what your opinions are, and I'm always open to everybody's different points of views and opinions or whatnot. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, let me know, and if you didn't, let me know what I can do to make my videos better. I'll catch you guys on the next one.